Okay. We're just gonna stick with what I know. So let me go back and put in freaking updates. This has been so hard. Is anybody even gonna join this? Probably not. That's okay. I'm so sorry, everyone, for this train wreck that nobody is listening to. Okay. It's also getting really warm in here. I'm getting only minorly stressed out. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Oh, that's a fantastic photo right now. It kind of sums up my mood. Currently. Okay. Okay. Nobody's on here, which means I'm just gonna talk to myself. Woohoo! That's not any different than normal. Oh, one person's here. Yay! Oh my gosh, this has been an absolute kind of disaster right now. I'm so sorry for anybody here or going to join or all of the rest of this. Thank you. I'm so glad you like my videos. I'm so sorry about this chaotic live stream occurring. Let me update my Instagram. We're persisting. And then I'll get to what I actually was planning to do this live stream, which should have started 14 minutes ago. Third time's the charm. I'm really warm now. Okay, welcome to the live stream. It started later than I was intending because I was trying to use my camera as a new webcam because then I thought, I don't know where I put the cover for this. Oh, there it is. Then I thought this would result in some better quality video for this live stream. However, then it messed with the audio, then it messed with my video, and the only way I could figure out how to reset the situation was by ending the live streams and creating new ones. Hence, we are on the third live stream of the afternoon, and finally getting started. So what I thought I was going to do today is work on these random Halloween crafts that I have laying around my house because my mom is an excellent person and likes to send me fun craft things that I need to build. So I'll show you guys, I have these little tea lantern holders that are going to be spiders. So I got to paint those and assemble them. I have 4 of them. I actually don't even know what's in this bag. I think it's random, like, hanging ornament things. I might do these today. I might not. I think they're like little Halloween ornaments. Those actually might be really cute. I have a big spider web hanging out by my house that I kind of use like a little, not a Christmas tree because it's a spider web and not a tree, but it's almost like a Christmas tree where I like hang stuff on the spider web. That might be cute for that. And then the 2 things that I'm really excited about and for which my mom is truly the best mom ever is this is my crown of femur bones that she 3D printed for me. Based off of a meme we saw about girls just wanting to have a crown of femur bones. So I have that I need to paint. And then I thought to go along with it, I have this cool little skull flower thing that we also 3D printed, that is going to be the topper for a staff. So I thought to myself, if I glued it on top of a dowel rod, it would make an epic staff for the crown and staff kind of appearance. And then, this is for my grand plan is to wear this on the day of my birthday, which is Halloween, and just, be awesome. Just normal Halloween spooky things. So, that's where we're going to start. I just dumped out all of the paint on my floor to the left of me, so if you keep seeing me reach, like, back here and looking for paint, I'm just gonna start with my little tea lantern holder thing. I went to grab a little tea light in here so that whenever it's finished, I could show you the end product, but I forgot. So let me move this. See, the beauty of having a different camera was it was going to be way easier for you guys to see what I was working on, but that didn't work. Okay, I just have some black paint that really needs to be mixed. The paint's kind of old. Some black paint, some paintbrushes, and I'm just planning on, I think I'm going to paint these all black. Excuse me. And maybe I'll go back in with some silver or some white and fill in the lines on them. That feels like it could be a good idea. If anybody has any questions or anything they want to throw in the chat, feel free to put that in there. I'm happy to answer things about science, about otherwise. You can, if you want to share like any fun Halloween plans you guys have. I just want this to be like spooky crafts, spooky science, Halloween themed. I mean, the science topics, I guess, don't have to be Halloween themed. And if nobody has anything they want to ask or say, I'm just going to keep talking to myself about stuff. Because I guess that's what I do as a YouTuber, and people like to listen to it. So, just going to paint these little things. I'm really excited about these. I am personally really excited about Halloween. As I mentioned before, Halloween is my birthday, so it's a big deal on multiple levels. So I love celebrating my birthday, but also I just very much enjoy like the spooky season, spiders, bats, decorations, etc. Which is funny because I don't like horror movies. Like I'm not a big fan of the horror genre, but because I don't really like being like scared. But I call it passive Halloween. Like I like spooky decorations and stuff like that, but I don't want stuff coming out and scaring me. Also, I have like the best birthday. It's such a good time. Also, a fun fact is I was born at 10:31 a.m. on October 31st, so 10:31. So that's even spookier, I guess. I guess it would have been spookier if it was like 10:31 p.m., but meh. Also, if anybody has any good Halloween songs, please let me know because there are not a lot of good Halloween songs, and I have a Halloween playlist that is honestly like 50% different versions of This Is Halloween from the Nightmare Before Christmas, and then like probably like 25% different variations of Ghostbusters songs, and then just 25% like the rest of other songs. There's like a couple of like pirate songs on there. Like, I don't know. It's a couple other Nightmare Before Christmas songs on there. Just there's not a lot of really good Halloween music like there is Christmas music, I feel, and most Halloween music that exists is like, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like it's songs that are not actually about Halloween, but they just have a title that could be associated with Halloween. These are my thoughts. These are my thoughts on Halloween songs. Let's see, what else is going on? If you haven't been watching my spooky videos all month long, you should definitely go give them a watch. They've been really fun to come up with spooky science topics. I really enjoyed the spooky underwater. My brain has stopped working. It's been a very chaotic day. The live stream problems were just, adding to the chaos. My day turned out to be more chaotic than I was expecting. I really enjoyed doing the weirdest ocean deep sea creatures that I could find because boy oh boy was it hard to like narrow it down, and I did my best to like pick the weirdest animals that would be fun to talk about, and there's so many other weird animals out there in the ocean. Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you for the recommendation. And also, yes, like the like Zombies by the Cranberries, like it's not about zombies. It's, you know, about Northern Ireland in the 90s. Like, that, I mean, I guess scary in a different way, but yeah, someone always popped up the other day, and I was like, this is hilarious because this isn't even about Halloween. Um, but yeah, I loved the Ocean Critters one. There's so many weird and horrifying, like, especially like the different fish that are like down at the bottom of the ocean that just like, oh, why do you look like that? Like, does anything else, like, they don't really have any evolutionary pressure, I guess, to like look cute in the conventional sense. I'm not quite sure. But then you have stuff like the flapjack octopus is pretty cute. But yeah, there's some like really funky looking fish, and it's like, why do you look like that? Please stop. Yeah, deep sea fish, weird things. Like, what's going on down there? I do think it's really cool though, like the different adaptations they have. So like, was it the, oh my gosh, my brain's gonna stop. Like the dragonfish or whatever, like has been able to adapt to have some of the blackest pigments in the world, and it's very hard for us to like get stuff that dark, but like that fish is just kind of doing it. And then the things that like make anything that like luminesces at the bottom of the ocean is pretty wild. I mean, and then you have like, I mean, I think like I mentioned the hydrothermal vent worms are not as like scary looking as everything else down there, but they're pretty weird for the fact that they could just make their own food. Because we don't really talk about anything else that can make their own food other than plants, and it's like these hydrothermal vent worms are over here like, hold my hydrogen sulfide. I'm gonna make my own food. Oh. I also frankly love that Z Frank video about sea pigs. If any of you guys have already seen it, or if you watched it based from my video, like that video cracks me up. I remember the very first time I ever watched it, I was in like zoology class, and my lab TA for the class, he was like South African or something. So he had like an accent, and he was like talking to us, and he was like, every single week he'd give us these PowerPoints, and he'd always practice like delivering the PowerPoint to his girlfriend. And all of us were like, number one, please stop like practicing your PowerPoint presentations to your girlfriend. Like, she doesn't want to learn about like these animals. Like, she please stop showing her the dissection, like our dissection lab PowerPoints. This poor girl is just trapped and has to listen to this. And then he also showed us this video, and he was like, the Z Frank video. He was like, my girlfriend thought I shouldn't show you guys this video because she thought it was stupid, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you anyway. And I mean, I'm glad he didn't listen to her in that account, because that was the most ridiculous video. And then I had to show it to my parents, and then my parents were like, what on earth did you just make us watch? And then I've shown it to like most people, and they're also usually like, what the heck did you just make me watch? But that video was fun. Also, sea spiders are scary. Well, they're kind of scary. They're like cool though. Like, the spiders also exist underwater. And I talked about how big they can get, but a fun fact is most of the ones that stay, like, they get that big up to like the size of a house cat, are typically found at the poles, so like the North Pole or the South Pole. And that's actually something that's known as like Arctic gigantism. And scientists have found that like some like same species or similar species will actually be a lot bigger near the poles of the Earth for some reason. They're not entire. I think it's actually polar gigantism. They're not like entirely sure why, but things, as you get closer and closer to the poles, things get bigger, which is interesting. All right, one spider lantern down. How many legs do they each have? That's a dumb question. Spiders have 8 legs. Each spider and lantern has 8 legs. Although my other favorite thing around Halloween time, especially as a scientist, is going in and examining all of the scientifically and like, I guess, anatomically incorrect skeleton animals that they make in stores. My personal favorites this year have been an octopus, because, you know, octopi totally have skeletons, and a snail. Oh, I saw a snail. That one was fun. And I'm trying to think of what other ones I've seen this year. I mean, I am, for one, here for the ridiculously shaped skeletons. I think I have a toad one, a rat, a spider one. I have a cat one. I have a fish one. At least some of those animals do have skeletons or bone skeletons, because I guess spiders also have skeletons. They're just not internal skeletons. I don't know if any of you guys have also noticed the ridiculous skeletons that the stores are producing. I think they're fun. But it is interesting. It also kind of reminds me of those memes like from a couple years ago that were like, if this were to wear pants, would it wear it this way or this way? And it's like, if this animal were to have a skeleton, would it have a skeleton this way or this way? Oh, goodness. Companies have never let scientific accuracy stand in the way of a good Halloween decoration. That's what I've learned. I already talked so much today. And now we're here. I was tutoring somebody in high school chemistry earlier today, revisiting like balancing chemical equations and stuff like that. All that stuff still lives rent-free in the back of my head. Oh, yes, I've seen that dog skeleton deer with my ears. Skeleton heist. Yeah, they're like, even if something does have a bone, they're like a bones in the body, it's still like, oh yeah, that's totally not how cartilage and other like things work either. But then also, would you like want an anatomically correct skeleton? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I have a cat one. I think my cat one has ears too. So, who knows? But yeah, I was tutoring somebody on how to balance chemical equations earlier today, and I still remember how to balance chemical equations with like great vividness from the fact that my mom was my 6th grade science teacher, and she's the one who taught me how to balance chemical equations and taught me like the method by which I do it. And I remember she used to get so mad at me because I would like cram in the writings and I'd do it really sloppily and all of this stuff, and I'd miss things, I'd mess up on things, and she's like, Brianna, you can do better than this. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Nothing worse than having your mom as a teacher and her being like, I know you can do better than this, and you just being like, ugh. But sometimes I just want to be lazy. I've outgrown that. I'm not as... That was like 6th grade Brianna. She was a little bit more lazy than I am now. Yeah, I don't even understand the weird amount of knowledge that I have retained over the years. There's some things that I still remember how to do, and I'm like, oh, where on earth did that come from? And I also do remember a surprisingly large amount of that zoology class I took in college. I'll just spout random facts in Latin while identifying animals on the beach, and my husband was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know, this is all this random crap I still remember from college. Why do I remember this? I don't know. And then there's other things that like I do not remember at all. Like anything I learned in organic chemistry? Absolutely not. Not that I really learned it, some of it that well the first time. Anything I learned in physics class? No, absolutely not. Speaking of physics, I actually, as many of you guys, if you are familiar, I'm not the biggest fan of physics. I had an absolute terrible time in Physics 101 and 102 in college, which was the first time I had to take a physics course. But I absolutely loved physical chemistry and kind of that high level quantum mechanics of physics and stuff like that. And so that's why I chose my neutrino topic for one of my other videos that's come out this month about neutrinos, which was super fun. I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this in the video or not, but I mentioned the research facility. I actually got to visit the Sanford Underground Research Facility in Lead, South Dakota over the summer, because once a year they do something called Neutrino Days, or like 1 week in a year they do something called Neutrino Days, which is a little like science festival, and they have people they have like vendors and stuff like that, and people come, and there's liquid nitrogen ice cream, and they give like tours of the what do they give us tours of? Sorry. They do like you could walk around the visitor center. They did like a tour of the, what's the word? It was that like hoist room that they use to haul like equipment and people in and out of the research facility, because the research facility is in an abandoned mine several like miles underneath the ground. And they talk about the research that's going on there. So I actually heard from some of the scientists working on the Dune project, I don't even remember what the D stands for. So whatever the underground neutrino experiment was, where they're planning on shooting neutrinos from Fermi Labs in Illinois to the Sanford Underground Research Facility in South Dakota. And that was just super cool. Like they had the scientists that were like, they were like FaceTiming in the scientists that were down inside the actual lab underneath the ground, like who are working on building these detectors and stuff like that. And it was just super cool to learn about, because it's not something I typically have learned that much about in kind of that physics world. And it's definitely not something that I begin to fully comprehend. But it was so cool to see like a science community outreach day based around sharing this really cool research going on that like is a global international thing, but like it's taking place underground in like South Dakota, and you're like, that's so, I don't know, like it struck me as really odd to be like, oh, this is like world international stuff like going on, but it's happening in like the middle of nowhere, South Dakota. Like it's very interesting. The one where they're trying to find black matter. I don't know. That's just the one where they're trying to understand neutrinos better, I believe. They're just basically building gigantic detectors and a gigantic neutrino beam between Illinois and South Dakota, and then shooting the neutrinos underground just to try to capture them more and study them for other future of physics. And the reason they're so deep underground is to prevent any other disturbances from any type of other particles or cosmic rays, because that deep, nothing else should be really hitting the detector other than neutrinos. And there's like far more. You could go visit like the Sanford Underground Research Facility, look at the Dune project. There's far more things going on than I understand. So maybe they're trying to find black matter and I missed that. Is what my puny little non-physicsy brain could understand from the discussion being held at Neutrino Day. But also I just think it's fun that there's a scientific festival called Neutrino Day. And yeah, it was cool. It was really fun. I was really hyped. Ever since my parents moved out to Wyoming and we learned about Neutrino Day, I've always wanted to go, and I finally got to go this year. Also another reason why my mom was great is because she very much wanted to go too, so we went with the whole family. Alrighty. Probably gonna have to touch up these little spider lanterns when I'm done. Whew, I realize I should have probably gotten something to wipe my hands off. I have a really fun video planned for this Friday that I haven't finished filming yet or editing because I've gotten sidetracked multiple times, but it's going to involve some really cool photography stuff that I am excited about and some really epic pictures. So I actually have to take more photos for it tonight, but I've been having a lot of fun working with some weird features on my camera, or some unique features on my camera that I don't typically work with while just like taking photos. If you guys haven't watched any of my photography videos, I'm super into film photography and photography kind of in general, especially like the science behind it. So I love combining that side of things with this channel as well, and doing kind of fun experimental photography stuff. So I'm really excited to work on that tonight. It'll involve breaking out old Halloween costumes, doing some creative stuff. That'll be fun. And then next week's video, which will come out on Halloween, is going to be all about my Halloween costume, which of course is science-y. So exciting content coming up. And then we hit November, and I'm like, oh, November is going to be a letdown after October, but that's okay. It's okay. November is always kind of a letdown after October to me. I just have so much fun during October. Oh my gosh, I have 4 of these? Okay, I have painted 3 of these so far, and I'm out of space on my paper towel. So I might take a second and change projects. I'll let these dry up a bit. All right. I think I'm going to paint my crown next. That sounds like a fun use of my time and your time. Let's see. What else have I been up to? I actually went and visited my brother and sister-in-law last weekend, and they took us on a ghost tour of one of the nearby towns in West Virginia, and that was fun. I'm not super into like supernatural, scary stuff. I don't watch like ghost hunting shows or anything, but it's fun to like do. I don't know if anybody else here has ever done a ghost tour. It's fun to do a ghost tour and like walk around and hear the history. Ooh, a ghost tour in New Orleans would be, I'm sure that was so much fun. I've done one also in Colonial Williamsburg, which was fun because that one definitely was a lot of like just the history that had occurred there. And then not technically a ghost tour, but I went on one like a Jack the Ripper tour in London. So they walked us around to like different spots of the murders and stuff. But I love hearing the history and stories and things. Plus, you get some spooky vibes. The town I was in was super decorated. Like all the storefronts were like all decorated and decked out for Halloween, and I loved it. I was like, yes, this is where it should be at. We went to, I'm getting so distracted. That's okay. Where did we go? Oh, back in April, my husband and I went on a trip to Maine, and on the way we realized like Salem, Massachusetts was like on the way to our final destination. So we just kind of stopped there for a real quick second. And I was like, oh, I really, really hope that it is. My brain's not working. I really hope. Sorry. I don't know why I decided to do a live stream on a Monday. My Mondays are always the most chaotic days, and my brain is always the most like on Mondays. So you're getting slightly just insanity, Brianna. This is what I'm like every Monday. Just nobody else sees me. You guys, I don't usually do live streams on a Monday. But anyway, where was I? Salem, Massachusetts. I was like, oh, I really hope that it's like spooky in Salem, even though it is like April, because it's just Salem, Massachusetts. It should be, it should be spooky. And it was. The storefronts definitely like, and businesses definitely take advantage of like, it being Salem and everything. And I absolutely loved it. I was like, this is where it's at. This is what I'm here for. So that definitely was not a letdown. I like spooky things. So yeah, the ghost tour was fun. And I got to take some cool pictures of just like the town and stuff at night, which I enjoyed. Here's the painting this crown. I figured I'll put like a nice little coat of like cream bone color on there and then maybe go in and do the shadows more. I'm not an artiste. But yeah, the ghost tour was super fun, and I got to go to this bakery up there that I really love that has like the best ever sourdough bread. And I got like 2 loaves of sourdough bread, and I am excited to eat them. Very much so. So, yeah, I don't know why I decided to. Today's been a lot because got back late yesterday, didn't have time to do my usual preparation, had to go grocery shopping this morning, ended up tutoring, something else popped up. It's just been. Oh, I had to play the organ for church on Sunday. I gotta teach on church on Sunday. Like, I have a lot of things just kind of like popped up that were not here last week when I was like, yeah, this would be a great time to do a live stream. But that's okay. This is fun. I like to talk to you guys. Oh yeah, the Salem witch trials are so fascinating. I agree with you. I mean, very sad time in America. It's also very interesting to me because like Salem, I think within the United States, obviously the Salem witch trials are like the most famous ones, but like other places had witch trials too, and they even actually like I don't remember what time period it was. I watched a documentary on it a while ago. Even like some places in England and other like the idea of witches was not just like limited to Salem. Everybody was in certain periods of time have gone. Oh geez, let me paint on my arm. Like gone witch crazy at one point or another. Oh, what was it? I feel like I did something the other day and I was like, this is why people in the olden days would have called me a witch. I think I was probably doing a chemistry experiment, and I was like, it's a good thing this ain't the 1600s. They think I was a witch. Fine line between chemistry and witchcraft. Okay, there's not a fine line between chemistry and witchcraft. It's probably a bigger line. A thick line between chemistry and witchcraft. This is kind of difficult to paint. In hindsight, probably should have spray painted this. But then we wouldn't be here together watching this. Oh yeah, probably the fact that, see, Born on Halloween, chemist, painting a crown of bones right now. Definitely a witch. Oops, everyone. My bad. Just kidding. I am not a witch. I just play one at Halloween. Let's see, what else is going on at this point in time? I've been watching a lot of Halloween movies. I've been watching, let's see. Watched Hocus Pocus. Gotta watch Hocus Pocus 2 before the season is out. And then, this does kind of look like a crown of teeth. It's because the femur. They're like femur bones that are short. My mom was trying to fulfill a funny meme we saw and was doing the best that we could with rudimentary 3D printing skills. Hocus Pocus. Gotta watch Hocus Pocus 2 still. I want to watch the Addams Family movies. What else have we watched? We've watched Medea Halloween 1 and 2. I need to watch Psycho still. We watched the all-female Ghostbusters. Let's see. Watched the new Goosebumps show from Disney Plus, the second season that came out like at such a weird time of year. And my husband and I are currently watching Wednesday. So yeah, just trying to keep all of the. Oh, I need to watch Halloween Town too. How could I forget about Halloween Town? Oh, and we watched Haunted Mansion. The new Haunted Mansion. The newer Haunted Mansion. That's always considered I consider that the like kickoff to Halloween movie, the new Haunted Mansion. My husband and I saw it when we were on our honeymoon in Ireland randomly, even though it was August, and we decided that after that movie that it was now officially Halloween time. Oh, thank you for the happy early birthday. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I don't want to watch serial killer shows. I do like to read about serial killers, and I need to stop because that gives me nightmares. But I don't need to have those visuals in my head. I do like if already just reading stuff like gives me bad thoughts and dreams and stuff, then like visually seeing something is not gonna work out for me. I actually can't watch I really do like mystery shows, but I can't watch anything that's super graphic or gruesome. Like I can't do Criminal Minds or CSI because it's just too creepy. The creepiest like forensic show I guess I can watch is Bones, and that's because they don't mostly they're just dealing with a pile of bones, but also the actual capturing of the killer is like a short part of the episode near the very end, and most of it is just spent on the forensics of it. Yeah, I love Bones. I just recently finished an entire rewatch of Bones actually. But since it's much more forensics and science based, I can stand it more than I can stand anything that gets more into killers, motivation, and torture and stuff like that. Because as interesting as sometimes I like to read true crime books, and as interesting as they are not good for my brain at the end of the day. Some of that morbid fascination stuff is not always the best. The crown is technically speaking not part of a larger outfit. Other than one I kind of made myself. So I showed this at the beginning. I'll show it again to anybody who's new. I also have this crown flower skull thing that I'm going to put on the top of a dowel rod and make a scepter. And then this month I made a pink, it's a pink skull pattern, kind of watercolory pattern fabric dress that I think would look really cute with it because it's spooky, but it's pink. So my plan is to wear those all together as my birthday outfit. So I guess it's not officially part of a larger outfit, but it is that was necessarily meant to go together. But I have decided to put these items together and wear it on my birthday and be all cute and spooky. I also would love, my plan for this guy is I would love to find some fake gems and put them in the eye socket. I think that would be cool. These are the things I do. I keep forgetting, I need to keep remembering to post my outfits to my Instagram every day, but some days I forget. But if anybody follows me on Instagram and has been keeping up there, I do have 31 different Halloween outfits for every day of October. I haven't posted the past couple of days because I have been lazy / forgetful. But I do spend a lot of time putting together fun Halloween outfits. So today I have this fall pumpkin colored dress on. I have my candy corn sweater, which is hanging on my chair behind me. And I have a candy corn hair scrunchie in. I always say that I'm most well-dressed during the month of October because I actually put in more effort to my outfits. But a lot of the stuff I have to wear, I've just collected over the years. I actually realized that I have been dressing Halloween themed for October for 10 years now. So over those years, I have got the chance to actually collect a lot of spooky outfits and make some more as I go. So this year I made 2 new Halloween dresses. One is that purple dress I wore in my Frankenstein video that came out last Friday. I got a couple comments that were complimenting that dress. I think it turned out super cute. And then the other dress I've made, which you guys will see on my birthday, is a pink, like I said, a pink kind of watercolor skull ghosty one that I'm gonna put this outfit all together in. In my head, it's gonna work. I don't know. My mom printed me this when I went to go visit her last, and then I was like, oh, I need a spooky scepter. So then we went through, and I was like, ooh, what if it had skulls and flowers? Because I love the skull and like flower aesthetic. I love a creepy flower aesthetic. Oh, thank you. Yes, I try my best to actually be nicely dressed in videos. Some days I stay nicely dressed the rest of the day. Other days I just put on sweatpants. It kind of depends. If I'm like sewing a bunch, I'll tend to wear more like sweatpants or yoga pants or something like that, just because it's easier for me to crawl around on the floor in comfy pants for sewing than it is to wear a dress or something like that. And honestly, some days I think I spend like half my day in pajamas because some days just be like that. You know, just pajamas are nice. For a reason, recently I've gained like a very newfound appreciation for my bed, and I just, whenever I get to lay in my bed at the end of the day, I am just so happy. I'm like, yes, this is my bed. I don't know. I just get tired. And my bed is so cozy. Especially as it's starting to get colder outside, and then it's like my house can be cold, and I don't have to pay for it to be cold because the outside is just chilling it, and then my bed is extra cozy. But if it's a fall, I spend less money on heating and cooling my house because the weather is actually moderate outside. Imagine that. I have to double coat this. I'm definitely gonna have to go in and retouch it. It's got a lot of nooks and crannies to it. And if I was a neater person, I would spend more time making it neater, but just trying my best. Obviously, super into Halloween, and so I've been looking at all, like, I love to look at all the Halloween stuff the stores have. But recently, and I mean, stores have been having Halloween stuff since like July, which I do think is a little bit ridiculous, but here we are. But recently, the Christmas stuff has been creeping in, and I keep getting like, I feel like almost jump scared by Christmas stuff in stores. Like a couple weeks ago, I needed to go to Walmart to like, I needed saucers for plant pots to like collect the water that drains out of a plant pot. And I go to the garden section. Garden section eliminated, gone. Everything has been moved, and it's just Christmas. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the beginning of October. Like, why are there so many Christmas things out? And then like and then I was like by the cash register at my Walmart, and there's like a display of like Christmas jewelry, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm standing in the Walmart in like my full Halloween gear next to these Christmas displays, and I'm like getting some whiplash up here. Yeah, Michael's is like, I was at Michael's last week, and there I've already moved. My Michael's has already moved their Halloween stuff to the like final sale table, and Christmas is in full force. Hobby Lobby doesn't put out Halloween stuff, which is, I wish they did, but here we are. And they've had Christmas stuff up since July, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. I think October or Halloween, as much as I love it, should be confined to like September, October. And you're right, like Christmas should be confined to November and December. Or you said after Thanksgiving, but like if we're gonna talk about decorations, confined until after Halloween, ideally until after Thanksgiving, but at least after Halloween. That's when I let anybody else mention. Anybody else mentions Christmas right now, I'm like, you don't mention Christmas around me. It's not Christmas time. It's spooky season time. And then as soon, like 12:01 a.m. November 1st, you may mention Christmas. I will be begrudging about it, but you may mention it. And then really I get into the full swing of like Christmas movies and decor and stuff like that after Thanksgiving. But definitely we do not play these Christmas games before Halloween has even happened. Because then it just makes me feel like my month is being rushed because I'm over here trying to live my best Halloween spooky life. And people are like, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, whoa. Haven't even made it that far. I am focused on Halloween with laser precision, honestly. I mean, I haven't even painted my crown of bones yet. They can't be. Test can't be over yet. Right? Alright, now I'm just trying to spread around my paint and make it even and not get paints in my hair. I probably should have put my hair up, but it's too late for that. I did wear an apron to cover my clothes, so at least I managed to have that. Christmas decorations in February is better than October. I mean, honestly, yeah. At least it's still winter. That would actually probably make January and February, like, seem slightly more cheery, because those months are always like, okay, Christmas is over, it's no longer winter, right? And you're like, oh no, it's still cold. So at least you'd have festive decorations would make it less dreary. But not in my sacred month of October, please. That's a no-no from me. But I do like Christmas, for the record. I do enjoy Christmas. Just all holidays at their appropriate times. There's a time and a place for everything. This is some hard work right here. Not really. Yeah, I tend to decorate for Christmas after Thanksgiving as well. One year, my mom and I accidentally left up our decorations until June for Christmas. Because my dad, he was in the Navy, and so he was away on deployment, so he was not around. And we just never got around to, like, taking down our Christmas decorations, because somebody had helped us put them up, but nobody, like, helped us take them down. So we just left them up until June, and then it was, like, the week before he was supposed to come home from deployment, and we were like, we should clean up those Christmas decorations so he doesn't come home and think we haven't done anything since Christmas. So we did that. And I typically decorate for Halloween on September 30th, because I like to wake up on the morning of October 1st and be surrounded by spooky season stuff. I actually have a large pumpkin arch that we still need to get out of our attic and put up before October ends. It's just really wedged in an inconvenient spot, so we haven't had the energy to do it yet. One year I will get one of those gigantic freaking skeletons from Home Depot and my life will be complete. There's actually several people around here that I know that, like, have those and just, like, have not taken them down for years. Like, their giant skeletons have been just, like, hanging out for years now. Alright, you talked about witchcraft and chemistry, but you see there's a hopeful fusion company who theorizes they can transmute lead into gold. Oh, that would be interesting, since they have been trying to do that for, ever. I didn't know that. I'll have to look it up. I do find it interesting, though, because as much as I love to mock alchemy, like, alchemists are actually the, like, foundation for modern day chemistry. So they were important, even if they had ridiculous ideas, the same way that our ridiculous ideas nowadays will probably also be important for laying the foundation of something better to come. But yeah, okay, I'll have to look into that fusion company. I guess I don't know if I ever see the value in creating gold that way. I guess it'd be useful to a certain extent, but then eventually you'd have to end up just controlling how much gold you could make, or you would just devalue the entirety of gold. Unless it became similar to diamonds, where you have synthetic versus natural diamonds, and while synthetic diamonds are way cheaper than natural diamonds, they still are costly. It would just be a cheaper alternative. Oh jeez. My phone is ringing. Hold up. I've been playing phone tag with somebody all day and I need to take this, so I will be right back, I promise. Take a break, everyone. Hello. Good. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I needed to end this phone tag I've been playing with somebody today. Phone tag ended. Cool. All right, what's been going on in this chat? Eventually, interesting. Yeah, I guess well, devaluing gold just kind of would wreck a lot of people's lives, so that's kind of chaotic. That'll be interesting. I'll have to look that up and learn some more about it. I think people have a long way to go to figure that out, but if we didn't have people putting out interesting ideas into the world, we would not have any innovation. So, and I guess if gold got devalued, at least then it would still be pretty. I could have a lot of pretty shiny things. I like pretty shiny things. But yeah, it would definitely have some very interesting scientific and economic impacts. Fascinating. You guys know so many cool things. That's why I like chatting with you guys in this way, is I learn so many cool things too. So I can't know everything, and I love learning from other people. All right. I feel like we have a good coat of paint on this for now. And I think it is mostly well spread out. Enough as it is. Sure. So aluminum, at the turn of the 20th century, the aluminum by weight was more expensive than gold, but then we figured out how to separate it from oxygen more cheaply. I mean, that is fair. We are always finding newer and cheaper ways to do stuff, which would then change the value of an object. Similar in the way that fertilizer used to be more expensive, and there was shortages of fertilizer and all of this stuff, and people were freaking out, and then they figured out how to artificially fix nitrogen. And now we can buy fertilizer, put too much of it, on the other hand, for really cheap. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I was saying about synthetic diamonds versus real diamonds, about how you can get both of them now, and it is a cheaper alternative, but some people still like real diamonds, etc. So maybe that'll be the same. All right, I'm gonna take a break on the crown. Let's see how these guys are doing. Oh, I need to paint the other side of some of them. Yes, when they like literally had wars over bat guano and bird guano, like, oh my gosh. I think at a certain point in time, like the United States just like authorized these, like, basically you could like take over whatever island you wanted to, as long as if it had bird guano like in the name of the United States. I don't know if anybody ever repealed that act. We just don't need to do it anymore. But if, oh my gosh, what is the name of, there's a book that I am now forgetting the name of, and it used to be on my bookshelf, but it's not anymore because it's disappeared. I think it's in my parents' house. It's about the artificial fixation of nitrogen. Is it Into Thin Air? Out of Thin Air? That's gonna bother me. Let me look this up. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It's like about Fritz Haber and whatever. It's about Fritz Haber and Karl Bosch. It's about the Haber-Bosch process, and the artificial fixation of nitrogen. Oh my gosh, what is? No, Into Thin Air is a different book. That's what I was thinking. Oh my gosh. The Alchemy of Air. There we go. It's like something air. The Alchemy of Air. If anybody is like a book person, science book person, is a really good book on the history of that and how we came to be able to artificially fix nitrogen to create fertilizer, and also how that led to the invention of chlorine gas and trench warfare in World War I. So kind of the situation of how like this invention and this process like saved humanity, but also kind of doomed humanity in a different way. All right, I'm getting my white paint all over these. It's fine. Yeah, another double-edged sword would be like that one's upside down. Would be like the discovery of like nuclear fission, is because like nuclear power is very helpful and very useful, but also obviously the atomic bomb, kind of scary. All right, ta-da! Here's one of my little lantern things. So you put a little candle on it, and it's a little spider. I'm gonna have to go back in and repaint the other half of things, but there's one of them. Just leave that over there for now. I got white paint all over it. I like building little crafts like this. I know, I'm a big fan of science books. That's what like half my bookshelf is. Let me just break that. Did I break it? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Lay down. Lay down. Okay. It's surely was wrong about some things inside this prior periods of history, but it's an interesting blindness. We don't know what our mistakes are in the same way that they didn't. Yeah, I actually think about that all the time, because obviously there's like some crazy stuff that happened in like science history. So like, I mean, alchemy. I have a video on phlogiston. See if anybody's heard of that. It's like how they thought fire worked. Was like the phlogiston theory. And then like when they like radiation, when radium was discovered, they thought it was good for you, and they like put it in everything, and then all this stuff. And then you have like or even like as historically, like, oh, the Earth is in the center of the universe or our solar system. There's all sorts of stuff like that like people are unaware of, and we like to laugh at them for it. But then, like, what are we unaware of that people in the future are probably gonna laugh at us for? Like, hey guys, that's not how that works. Who knows? Yay, number 2 spider. These are cute. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I like reading science books and science history books. It's just learning about the historical context and things like that for the discoveries. So like people were very shook by the ideas of like Marianing or other paleontologists because they were like, whoa, like the Earth can't be millions and millions of years old. The Bible only says it's like 6,000. And that, so like the discovery of dinosaur bones, like really shook their worldview and had them reevaluate everything, which is just so interesting. It's interesting thinking about how recent some scientific knowledge is relative to how long humans have been around or even just written history. Very true, especially at the rate people are like discovering things. I mean, even if you just take a look at like, it's very easy to say, like technology specifically in our lives, but like especially how fast AI has made everything go, but just like the differences in computers. I mean, like computers are very relatively in human history young, and other like the telephone things like that. Even the like structure. My favorite one is like the structure of DNA was only known in like the 50s, and like the entire human genome being tapped in the 90s. So that's like really big advances in genetic engineering and even like genetics and stuff like that have only been going on for like 50 to 75 years. Yeah, I'm so glad we don't bleed people anymore. Yeah, also probably like dark matter, dark energy, definitely something that I'm missing a leg. Something that so people will probably be like, oh my gosh, what were they thinking? That's crazy. So yeah, there's definitely so much stuff still going on that like many years from now, people are gonna look back at us and go, they're the idiots. But right now we get to look back at people 50 years ago and be like, no, they were the idiots. All right, my little army of spiders. Ooh, this kind of remind me of the little weird hat robots from the Robinsons. Oh, I need some more water. Talking so much. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna move on to my little skull. While these are all drying, because I also have to paint it a little bone color. I want to do the flowers. I don't know if the Horses Army and Meet the Robinsons. I'm so glad other people have seen that movie. I want to do the skull, obviously like a skull. I'm thinking gemstones in the eyes. Isn't there any thoughts? I was originally thinking I want the roses to be like a very dark red fading into black. But now I'm like, ooh, should I make them pink to match like the dress? Any thoughts on that? Feel free to put your thoughts. Pink versus like a dark red rose on this bad boy. On my royal scepter of Halloweenness. I also have to find the gemstones. I don't quite know where to buy artificial ones. Pink might blend in too much. Ooh, yeah, that's true. The dark red might be worth striking. Yeah, I am gonna paint probably darken like all the shadows on this. That's my plan. I just was gonna put down like a layer of this creamy brown color first. I might have to do, because I'll definitely end up having to do at least more than one layer just to cover up like the base plastic underneath that it was 3D printed in. Yeah, I think I might go with the red. I think the red might be more contrasty, and I think it'll still go with the outfit. And I might get some gloss too to make it look also stand out from like in a different like sheen sort of way. I don't know. I'm excited. My weird spooky ideas coming to life. Ooh, these little thorns on here are actually kind of, ow, are pretty spiky. They're pretty sharp. Sorry I keep yawning. I am also kind of tired. A long weekend. A long, fun weekend, but still long and busy, and I've been so busy today. Oh, stabby, stabby. It's kind of hard to hold this thing. Like, the thorns at the top, and they're actually really quite sharp. Goodness gracious. Trying to think if there's anything else I have planned for the rest of October. I don't think so. My channel will be turning 2, right? Yeah, my channel will be turning 2. I launched it on Halloween 2 years ago, so that's pretty exciting. Do I have a small stick I could use to hold? Ooh, maybe I could put it on the rod already, and that would probably be easier, but I'm just kind of holding it around the base now. That's a good suggestion. But yeah, this channel will be 2, which is pretty crazy that I've been doing this for 2 years. Thank you guys for all your support at whatever stage you joined this crazy science-y adventures that we are on. It's been a fun time. I've definitely learned a lot. Number one, I can't stand watching any of my videos back because I hate, like, looking at myself or, like, listening to myself talk. So I'm so glad you guys seem to at least semi-enjoy it. But I can't even look back at my old videos because they're, like, I've just gotten so much better at talking, like, on camera and, like, being more excited, and my energy and all of that stuff like that has just been better. Like, I've got now I'm gonna fail at it by not being able to talk right now. But yeah, just like my overall quality of video, and it has improved so much since the very beginning, which is great. It's always fun to be able to look back and see your progress. And I can't believe it will have been 2 years. That's just kind of crazy to me how fast time flies, and the just sheer number of videos and contents and things that we have explored together on this channel. It's kind of fun trying to describe to anybody new that I meet, like, oh yeah, I run a science YouTube channel, and they're like, what do you talk about? And I'm like, whatever science topic I decide that I want to talk about this week is kind of honestly what happens. Is anything I just find myself really interested in, or anything, like, sometimes your guys' comments or questions lead me to a new scientific topic, which is just always so much fun. Some of my favorite videos are still, I think, like, my sewing videos. I just love doing science and crafting together to make something cool. Still freaking love my periodic table sweaters, like, the greatest idea I think I may have had in my life so far. And then if any of you guys checked out my video from this summer that was originally meant to be for a fashion show, which got canceled, like, that brittle star larvae bioluminescent dress that I made is, like, the greatest thing I think I've made so far. It's, like, the coolest thing I've made. I was actually really disappointed that video didn't do very well, on YouTube, like, at all, which is kinda really sad to me, because it's, like, the coolest thing that I thought I've made, and then just, like, it didn't perform well. But you know what? Don't care, because I thought it was cool, and it was just so cool. Like, and the result of it was really good. The pictures turned out awesome. It actually features in my video this Friday again, so you guys will see it again. And I just had so much, actually, I didn't have a lot of fun making it because that was a very emotionally trying time, but it was a lot of fun executing the dress, and getting to see that vision come to life. So while it was quite the journey, and I had an up and down kind of relationship with making it, the end, I was so pleased with how it turned out and the pictures and just everything, just so good. Thank you to everyone saying nice things. I'm so glad I have people all the way in Egypt watching me. That's so cool to think about. Yeah, my Women in Science quote was also iconic. Those videos also didn't do as well as I really wish they had done. I feel like whenever I put a lot of effort into something that like I love and I think it turns out so good that like nobody else does, or not nobody else, but like they just don't do as well on my channel, and then I'm like, oh, sometimes I get wrapped up in like putting my worth into it, and then I'm like, wait, that's so stupid. Like this was epic. It doesn't matter that nobody like that it didn't like go viral or pop off on YouTube. Like it doesn't change the fact that it was super cool. Like I actually like to get out my women scientist quote every once in a while and just like stare at it and be like, I made that. I made that. It's so cool. Because when I was in the middle of making it, it was kind of hard to step back and be like, yeah, this actually looks really good. Because I was like just so into it and like, oh, I gotta get this done. And I'm like, it looks okay. And then I like really stepped back and look at it and I went, oh my gosh, like I made that. And it turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out. Um, and I love it when a vision comes to life and turns out really well. It's just so good, you know? Like I don't know. It's just so good. You know. That's I guess being a creative person can be hard sometimes because you're like, oh, I have this great vision in my head, but is it gonna work out? Which actually some of that stemmed into this Friday's video too. I have these really good ideas in my head, which you guys will hopefully see, and I am praying that they're gonna turn out. All right, here we go, painting some flowers so far. And I've been working on my Halloween costume too, which is gonna be next week's video. You can see sneak peek of it here. And that's been working out really well too. So I'm excited to unveil that final design for all of you guys in that video. I like baking stuff. Yeah, I think the silhouettes on that science quilt turned out so good. I also have already planned what I'm gonna be doing for Women's History Month, like next March already, and I'm very excited about those plans too. So like, get hype everyone for Women's History Month in March. My two favorite months out of the year to create content would in fact be October and March. October for Halloween and March for Women's History Month. So, can I top the Women Scientist quote? I don't know, but we're about to find out! I also have some like really cool, hopefully like more fashion show, kind of like fashion show-esque projects or like fashion designs in my head that I really want to bring to life and almost do like my own version of like the finale of Project Runway, except with a STEM inspired fashion show where I like make all of the looks. So that is also coming at some point in the future. The issue with that is it's going to take quite a bit of time and also quite a bit of money, and I am not full of either of those right now, but once I get enough funds together to buy all the materials for that, there's going to be what should hopefully be some pretty epic science designs coming your guys' way in like in the next year, like looking out over the next year, hopefully. I don't know. I have so many ideas sometimes. Like I just have a whole list that I'm like, oh, I gotta rein some of this in so I can actually like, I don't know, produce something or produce content week to week. Because sometimes it's like the content I want to do is gonna take longer than that. But it's okay. We will get there. I also have fun ideas for more photography on this channel. So I have been ever since my husband and I purchased the house we are currently living in, which was a year ago. We have been wanting to turn We have plans to turn the garage into a photography darkroom / science laboratory. And also due to funding and time, we have not had a chance to do that yet just because we've been really busy, and tracking down some of that stuff is hard because like companies don't make it anymore and it's expensive, and just our garage is disgusting and needs a lot of work. So it just hasn't had a lot of time to like really get into it. But we got a lot of really cool equipment from this guy who is downsizing his space off of Facebook Marketplace. So we ended up with like actually like 2 new cameras, as if we didn't have enough cameras already. We have so many cameras, guys. Like the amount of cameras in our house is ridiculous, honestly. But then we got like another and larger to do big darkroom prints and some like darkroom paper and like cool like tanks to wash stuff in. And I'm just like so excited to be able to like I'm so excited to have my own like little chemistry lab in the house. How many people get to have their own chemistry lab in their house? That's like not a normal thing because we is not normal people here. Gonna start out with black and white for darkroom printing, and then hopefully one day move into color. Is the plan. We do both color and black and white on film photography. But we're using like a digital camera to scan the film and convert our images. So it will be interesting, but it'll be a good time. Oh yeah, the show Lessons of Chemistry. I haven't seen it. I did read the book, and I will say I wasn't the biggest fan of the book, although I love the fact that she did build her own chemistry lab in the kitchen. That was like one of my favorite parts of it. Because I thought the book did tend to be a little bit too much like let's take every single cliche about women in science and shove them all into one story and not give a lot of like any more like depth to the characters or like to the story or even to uh like honestly like other than like I guess the stereotypes against like women in science, the book didn't really feel like set in the 50s, or I think it was set in the 50s. It didn't feel like a full rounded picture. So I didn't quite enjoy it, but I did love like the idea behind it. Maybe I'll have to check out the show. But yeah, I was just like, oh, we've just shoved like every single cliche, like we've just got every stereotyping cliche about women in science like into one story without a lot of nuance, which personally wasn't my favorite. But the idea was a really good idea, and I liked the idea behind it. So, but yeah, I want to build my own science lab. I'm here for home science labs. Let's be real here. Oh, I need to color the back of that flower, don't I? Probably. Okay. Flowers! Ooh, the show has a B plot that centers around civil rights and identification. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll have to check out the show because I just felt like the book was a little flat to me. Personally. It does not mean nobody else was allowed to enjoy it. Alright, let's paint some leaves. Let's get some green in here. So much paint just floating around my house. Which is funny because I don't really paint that often. But when I do, it's spooky Halloween scepters, I guess. I think for my birthday, I really want to go to my local botanical gardens. Again, I love going to the botanical gardens and taking pictures. If any of you guys have seen, sometimes I post pictures on my story or post like pictures I've taken on my Instagram. I also do have like a film photography Instagram page that I sometimes post photos to when I remember. Oh, I made a comment on your one video about the difference between sharpness and resolution of black and white film. Oh, I'll have to go back and look for it. Sometimes YouTube gives me notifications I have more comments than I do on a video, and I'm like, I don't know what happened to the comment. Alright, I'll go back and look for that after this is over. I'm sorry if YouTube did that. I always try to check my hidden comments too, in case YouTube has hidden anything for some reason. Because I'm not trying to. I don't want to like limit anybody unless they're being like gross or inconsiderate on my channel. But somebody meaningfully trying to contribute is welcome to meaningfully contribute. So yeah, I'll go and check. I love it when you guys leave comments that make me think about things, by the way. Please leave comments on my videos. It makes me so happy to see comments. And not just because it like the algorithm likes it. I like reading your comments and seeing what you guys have to say when you guys share something interesting or like say something nice. It just really makes my day. It can be hard to like connect to an audience through video platforms. So like commenting is a good way to connect, and it really, I think the back of those roses are supposed to be red. Oops. I'll repaint over that. It just really makes my day to get comments on my videos. Oh, and I just painted the skull green. Oopsies. Whatever. Nothing a little repaint can't do. But yeah, so fixing up our garage and turning it into a lab is honestly probably next on the things of home renovations to do. You know, the long, never-ending list of home renovations, but gotta make all of my spaces coolly decorated. I love spending time in this office studio space because it's just so epically decorated. It's like the first time I've ever actually had like a sewing room to do stuff in, and it's just like it makes me so happy to be in here. And I just love this like the giant periodic table is just still to this day probably the best purchase I've ever made in my life. Or at least one of the best IKEA purchases I've ever made. It's just so good. I forgot a little flower over here. I'm sorry, little buddy. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to forget you. Here's how we're looking so far. Gotta paint that last flower in the corner right now. I didn't mean to forget it. I wish I could photosynthesize because then I wouldn't have to eat food. Because sometimes I love food, but sometimes I just don't want to have to make myself food and eat it. Is that field camera the only 4x5 you have? I have studio camera collector, yes. So actually, I have the one 4x5 camera. So that's my big, is it somewhere over there? It's my big, it's got red bellows on it. Here, let me get it out because I need a break from painting, and seeing stuff visually is always more entertaining than just listening to somebody talk about it. Rest that down real quick. Hands are gross. Okay, good enough. Oh. All right. Love talking about cameras. So this is my 4x5 camera. So it shoots film that is 4 inches by 5 inches in size. Let me not get paint on it like a genius. Let me unwrap her. All right. She doesn't have her lens in her, but this is my 4x5 camera. So it takes giant film that goes into these things. It's super fun to use, less fun to carry around to use. And then this was the only large format camera. Put it away and not get more paint on it. Maybe put it away. Ugh, okay, she's actually just gonna sit on my floor for right now because I don't have the energy to fold her up. And then it was the only big large format camera we owned, but those 2 new cameras that we purchased on Friday from the delightful man selling off his darkroom equipment are actually 2 more 4x5 cameras. So now we have 3. One is a studio, I believe it is more of a studio camera. It's a monorail, which for anybody who is like, what on earth is she talking about right now? Basically like this one moves back and forth like on these bellows, and the monorail camera moves back and forth on like a bar basically. So we have that one now, which is a lot bigger and which is like heavier, and we got a tripod for it. And then we also got what is called it's a Crown Graphic Graflex camera. I'll type that in the chat. Is Crown Graphic Graflex camera. So we just bought one of those, and if you want to look up what it looks like, and it folds up all nice and neat, and you can like pop it out, and then like it's almost like they tried to make the big gigantic studio and like cameras like as like portable as possible. People used to use them for like press for newspaper photography before like smaller and more portable, even more actual portable cameras were invented. So now my husband and I, between the 2 of us, have 3 4x5 cameras because we have a problem and keep buying cameras. I'm actually really excited. So the the guy is also selling a Polaroid back for the large format camera. So like back in the day, you could actually attach like Polaroid instant film to the large format camera and take like Polaroid instant film pictures, but through like a camera that you had more control over. So think about like Polaroids nowadays, or Fujifilm Instax, where you press the button and the picture comes out. So it's like that, except you have the it's in a camera like this. You could put a special back on it and put instant film into it. I don't know why I bothered trying to put this away. It's great visualization. But they don't make the film anymore that could go into the backs for this. But this company called Lomography, and I've used some of their film before, and I've done some videos about their film before on this channel, came out with a new back that takes the current Fujifilm wide format film. So I actually just bought it today. I'm really excited for it to go in the mail. And the comment about you have the box of Polaroid film. Is it like the old peel apart film? So if anybody's, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not that old. So if you're older than me, you might actually remember when it existed. But I don't remember what any of this stuff existed in real life. It's this like instant film that you would take the picture and then you'd actually peel it apart, and the picture would be on the one side, versus the like Polaroids we're familiar with nowadays, little squares that roll out of the camera and then develop. That's so cool. We have Chaos Brain. Yes, peel apart film is super cool. They don't make it anymore. That's amazing. So because they don't make it anymore, the Lomography has created a new back for 4x5 cameras that will actually take Fujifilm Instax wide film, and you could put that in there, and so you could still do instant film photography with cameras like this. Sorry, you could tell I'm like, so excited about this. And so I bought it today, and I have this idea. I don't know if it's going to quite work, but if not, I'll use it in a different format. I have this idea at my birthday party of doing like a photo booth with the instant film, except the pictures are taken on like this camera. Again, gotta experiment to make sure that it'll actually work with lighting and everything like that. But it's an idea, and I'm really excited about it. Cameras are fun, if nobody can tell. I love photography and the science and optics and everything behind it. I was actually, I'm in this like photography Discord channel, and we were talking. They've been talking recently about the difference in sensors used in digital cameras. And there are two sensors that are used in, like, the sensors nowadays used in digital cameras are called CMOS sensors, CMOS, and that stands for, it's like complementary metal oxide semiconductor sensors. And but the just detectors, or sorry, the sensors they used to use back in the early days of digital photography were the CCD, or charge coupled device sensors. And I actually had to learn about those far before this photography Discord channel has been debating the merits of each of these sensors. I actually had to learn about the structure and how each of these sensor types worked in graduate school in a chemical instrumentation um, class, because the same sensors that are used in digital cameras are used in chemical equipment to detect things as well. And there's a lot of similarities between the chemical instrumentation and the optics and detectors that are used in cameras. So not only is there so much reduction oxidation chemistry going on with the film in film photography, but there is even like more chemistry and science going on in the optics for lenses, how they work, and how like pictures get detected in a digital camera. So it is super cool. Yeah, the film photography little segment and playlist of my channel has been slowly growing over the years. It's been 2 years. And it's one of my favorite ones to make videos about. I think like my developing film with coffee video has been one of my most popular videos. It is like it's still getting views, which is great. But it's just such a cool concept, and just like if I were to teach like a chemistry class, I would definitely involve students having to develop film. It is such a great practical application of reduction oxidation chemistry. And I'll be real with you, I used to struggle a lot with how I still am not like sometimes don't have always the best grasp on reduction oxidation chemistry, but like in the past couple of years, I've gotten a lot better understanding it simply because of film photography, which is probably kind of crazy to say, but yeah. I'm sorry, that was like such a long tangent about photography that it's still related to science. But yeah, I have plans to do stuff in my at-home darkroom lab for the science. It'll be fun. And I own too many cameras, it's fine. I'm actually almost busting out of my husband and I bought a cabinet from IKEA to house all of our cameras. We call it the camera cabinet. And we're actually running out of space in it. And I'm like, ooh, is this a sign that we don't need any more cameras? Probably. But then also, I think there's like 1, 2, 3, there's like solidly 5 sewing machines in this room. So also, like, I probably don't need any more sewing machines, but is that gonna stop me? Probs not. Although it has been a hot second since I have collected a new sewing machine. Maybe it's time to change. I'm just kidding. Oh. I'm not a hoarder, but I do really enjoy collecting things. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Right, everyone? I don't have a problem. I just like stuff. Ooh, I do have a serger. I guess I have 5 sewing machines and 1 serger in this room. I don't know how I feel about my serger. It is loud and half works. So I actually probably need a new serger. But I do have one of those too. Actually, I had some other tiny little sewing machines too somewhere in this room, but I think I got rid of those. I don't know. There's like so much random stuff in the closet. Oh, and then, sorry, I forgot also, because I just saw the boxes sitting in my closet. I also have 2 large format cameras that are like super old, like 1800s, early 1900s, that I don't believe work anymore, but they are really cool and like aesthetic-y. I'd love to fix them up and either get them like kind of restore them or at least getting them working better. But yeah, those are not in like a working condition. They are just right now serving as decor. Well, actually, right now they're serving as sitting in a box. But when the dark room gets built, the plan is to like have them serve as decor. In theory, I think that's the plan. It's actually really cool. One of them like doesn't have, so if anybody watching any of my videos are familiar with cameras, so you have aperture on a camera, which controls the amount of light being let in, and that's in the lens itself usually. And the smaller the aperture, actually the more amount of light being let in, the larger the aperture number. Or sorry, the smaller the f-stop, which is like a ratio, which is why it's opposite, then the more amount of light being let in. But the lenses on the really old-fashioned cameras don't even have an aperture built inside of the lens itself to control how much light can get in and out of the lens. It has these like rings that you insert inside of the lens to change the aperture, like almost like even more manually than like twisting a dial. It's very cool. I also love, one of my favorite things about like older objects is the kind of engineering or ingenuity that went into solving problems that we've solved now and then, like therefore don't necessarily have to deal with. So the idea that they actually have these like external rings to like change the amount of light being allowed in and out of the lens versus like nowadays that technology is built inside of the lens is very interesting to me. Kind of like also back like before they came up with like bobbins for sewing machines, like what goes underneath the sewing machine and provides the bottom thread, they had these change stitch machines, and I actually have one of those too that's not in this room, so it doesn't count as the 6 machines that are in this room. It's out in my living room. But that's also cool because they had a way for the machine to be able to create a bottom thread and create and sew, even though like they didn't have the concept of a bobbin at that time. Or the idea of like, I have a singer table, a treadle table over here, the idea of creating that treadle in order to operate the sewing machine before electricity and motors could do it themselves. It's just so cool, like the advancement of technology and like different things. Ooh, she's looking good. She's looking good. I think I need a little bit more red though. I'm actually, is this even red? That is bright red apparently. It's like this red looks a little funky to me. But yeah, if you can't tell, I like learning about old things, like old technology, and using a lot of like older technologies. Fun to me. Much more of like an analog person, I would consider myself as. I actually picked my digital camera because it is like practically exactly like my favorite film camera, or one of my favorite film cameras. I can use it exactly the same way. I was like, perfect. This is practically like using a film camera, except it's digital. Amazing. Yeah, so in some cases, the treadle machine does in fact give you more control because you're actually also going at a slower speed. And yeah, you have the ability to control it more. It's also a lot more like methodical to use sometimes slower devices, and you put a lot more thought into what you're doing, which tends to end up having a better result than rushing things. And even though I'm well aware of this concept, it doesn't stop me from rushing things sometimes when I need to get things done. But sometimes life happens and things happen like that. And that is okay. I think it's turning out good. What do you guys think? We're liking? I'm liking. I'm not a liking. That was bad. I actually usually don't feel like I have these bad of jokes at all. I don't actually feel like I ever tell jokes. So sorry about that, guys. That you're getting these really terrible liking jokes out of me. Thrive. Yeah, that's true. You get a chance to, like, if you make your own clothes, which I have probably made about half of my own clothes at this point, is you do get a chance to control more of the quality of it. And I'm actually finally getting to a point where I've been, like, finishing my edges and doing everything that I should. And the quality of my stuff has really gone up, and it's so much nicer. So the stuff I buy. I also love making my own clothes because then I could make crazy things like a camera dress or a periodic table sweater or, a brittle star larvae bioluminescent inspired fashion design. And I am not confined to things other people might actually want. It's fun to be able to make whatever I want to and have somewhat of the skill to back it up. But that's also because I just like to dress uniquely sometimes, so. Like, ooh, do I need to make a women's scientist inspired outfit? I guess I gotta make it myself. Yeah, it definitely helps with more mindfulness, rather than impulse buys. Although it has stopped slightly more because Joann's has closed, I do impulse buy fabric occasionally because I'm just like, oh, this is so cute, and I need to have it. I want to become a global artist and scientist in the field of biology. What do you advise me? What books and movies should I read and watch? What is my favorite book or movie? Oh gosh. I'm trying to even think. Well, my favorite books and movies are not necessarily science related. My favorite movies, I have two top movies, are Jurassic Park and Roman Holiday from the 50s, which are two vastly different movies. But I do actually love Jurassic Park, and I love the Jurassic Park book for a lot of the discussion of science and genetics that it involves. So that's actually a really great one for a discussion of like genetics, and just because we can doesn't mean we should, and like population dynamics. Is Jurassic Park, both the movie and the book. Love them. I refuse to acknowledge the existence of any other Jurassic Park movie personally, other than the first original one. I also think that, yeah, Jurassic Park handles so much science ethics. Like, oh, I could go on and on and on and on about Jurassic Park, but we will not do that. I also just love reading. Also, I love reading. I honestly, once upon a time, would read like anything that you would give me. I'm a little bit more picky nowadays. My favorite, probably, other book is Harry Potter. Personally, I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. That's less sciencey. But outside of those, I love reading like biographies of scientists and learning more about their lives. I'm in the middle of rereading a Marie Curie biography. And there's just so much to learn about like their lives past, typically what we learn about their discoveries in school, that is very helpful to understand kind of like their thought process, their educational background, things they did, and like kind of how they ended up where they were at. So like a big thing like talking about in like the Marie Curie biography is the fact that like she didn't have very traditional schooling because it partially got broken up thanks to like Russia occupying Poland, but also her family was pretty financial like not financially well off, and so she had to wait for and save up money to be able to go to college, and stuff like that. And I think that's very helpful, especially if you are in life situations that seem like less than ideal and you're like, oh my gosh, like Marie Curie didn't have to deal with this. Thomas Edison didn't have to deal with this. Like Albert Einstein never dealt with this stuff that I'm going through. You'll probably find that's not likely the case. That these scientists, these geniuses we know nowadays or whatever, like struggled a lot too, had their own problems and had their own path that took them to where they ended up in life. I don't watch a lot of science shows, honestly. I think for me, I like to get a lot of learning. Like, if I'm gonna learn something, I personally prefer to learn it out of a book. That's just me. That's how I do learning best. And so, usually, if I'm watching a TV show, it's more for like entertainment value than like learning value, I guess. Again, that's my personal preference. I prefer to get more of my learning out of books. I don't know if that answers the question, but those are some of my favorite things I like to read. I also just like enjoy anything that gives me like a lot of thought. So I do personally enjoy like ethical or moral quandaries that sometimes in books. And things like that. And like very complex, like kind of nonfiction books that have to deal with like different sections of like history. You wouldn't think that overlap. So one of my favorite authors is like Eric Larson. He wrote Devil in the White City and In the Garden of Beasts and like a book about Lusitania, a book about Churchill. Like he's a very good nonfiction writer. So I really enjoy his books. That book about I mentioned earlier, which I gotta look up the title of, The Alchemy of Air, was really good. It's about the Haber-Bosch process. I don't know, just like what else is on my bookshelf? Oh, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks is a really good one. Anything by Rachel Carson is great. Silent Spring, this like Under the Sea Wind, The Edge of the Sea Around Us. I'm sorry, I'm staring at my bookshelf. Any of the memoirs from I actually haven't read Jane Goodall's memoir, which is so sad she died recently. But I would like to. I have read her biography. I'd like to read Jane Goodall's memoir, but the other memoirs from the other two trimates. So Diane Fossey's memoir, Girl is in the Mist, and then Brute Galdicas's memoir. What is that called? Oh, I gotta look at it. Ooh. Reflections of Eden. Let me just trip over everything on my floor. Is also a really good book. So yeah, those are I'm gonna fix that. Those are some of my favorite books. Yeah, Beatrix Potter used to studied science in the beginning. She was super cool, and then she kind of switched to like the children's books. I think she studied mushrooms. I think I did her a couple years ago, like 2 years ago for my women scientist dress up. But yeah, I just love reading anything that teaches me new things. Oh yeah. All right. Podcast and an episode on Henrietta Lacks. That's a very interesting story, very sad story. Fortunately, a lot of the interesting stories in science are quite sad. All right. I am gonna go ahead and wrap up this live stream because it's 4 p.m. and I have other things to do. Thank you all so much for joining and bearing with me for the multiple technical difficulties I had with everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will post pictures of my finished stuff when I get it all painted. And thank you for watching. Stay tuned for my video coming up on Friday, and keep it science, you guys!